elsewhere on the defense, the boys up front, how would a Jarrell Worthy or a Brandon Thompson look on this team, Cam?
Yeah, you know, I like the idea of getting somebody on the defensive front there. Maybe Andre Branch out of Clemson as well. I just, you know, you have Justin Smith and Ray McDonald playing every day, along with Isaac Soboanga at nose tackle. You know, they played a lot of snaps last season. They were very fortunate that those guys didn't get hurt. And the depth behind is a question mark. So I think the Niners really should look and see what other options exist there.
You know, the 49ers broke camp last year with, obviously, the 3 starters, and then Ricky John-Francois, Will Tukuafu. They also had Ian Williams and DeMarcus Dobbs, all backup defensive linemen. And the reason they kept that many guys was because the 49ers saw something in those guys and said, you know what, there's something here. Let's give them a year to develop. So I think this is a big year. The 49ers can draft a guy on the defensive line, but also I think they expect all of those guys to take major leaps forward and get more into the rotation and give a break to Ray McDonald and to Justin Smith, 2 guys who played a lot of football last season.
And Williams and Dobbs, neither one of them were drafted last year, right, Matt?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Both undrafted free agents.
Guys, real quick, let me throw a wild card into the mix here because clearly you think they're set at running back with Frank Gore. You like what you got with Kendall Hunter. They bring in Brandon Jacobs. But if a guy like a Doug Martin from Boise State was to fall to them, would that be something they'd have to consider?
I don't think Doug Martin would be the guy, I have a difficult time thinking that they would take a guy at number 30, but I do believe at some point they will take a running back. I mean, look at the 2 guys right now, the big running backs. You know, Frank Gore is a starter, Brandon Jacobs, the backup right now, Kendall Hunter, more of a change of pace guy, but those are 7-year backs. They need somebody eventually to take over as a full-time guy.
All right, with that, we are going to take a timeout here on our 49ers draft preview special, but much more ahead. We know these guys are probably going 1-2 in the draft, but in which order and which one will make a better NFL QB? We break it down next as the 49ers draft preview show continues.
Inside the Raiders, inside local sports, way inside. Only on CSNCalifornia.com.
Welcome back. Here's a snapshot of just how much weight the NFL draft carries when it comes to team success. Elsewhere in the league, of the 106 players on the Giants and Patriots Super Bowl rosters combined, 84 entered the league via the NFL draft. And before we get into prediction time here on our NFL draft preview show, real quick, I want to bring up something Jim Harbaugh said this week. He said, when you watch film on all these prospects, it comes into your mind that eventually most of these guys are going to be opponents. I found that pretty interesting, and it really prompts the question, when you're planning for your first-round pick, how much guesswork into who might be available still in the 2nd round and 3rd round plays into where you go with that pick? Matt, I'll put you on the board first.
I'm not sure. I think it's how you stack your board. You know, if you have a lot of guys at one particular position rated as 2nd-round picks, maybe you shy away from that spot in the 1st round, knowing that there's going to be good depth at that spot.
You agree, Eric?
Well, your board is based on your needs. So if you're in a position like the 49ers are this year where you're not trying to find that starter, then you don't really worry about that. I mean, it truly is. It sounds cliche-ish, but you go after the best player available when you're not looking for a starter. That's how you end up with a team that's built through the draft.
And Cam, now that the 49ers do have a set system, something they've been lacking the last several years, does it make it easier for this team going forward?
Yeah, I think they plug in their when you say best player available, you're looking for the best player available that fits in your specific system. So obviously not every player on the board is going to fit. So you figure out which guy is going to fit into this part of the system that's already stacked. And as I think Trent Baalke used the term, infiltrate your lineup there.
All right, we're not going to put you guys on the spot with who they might pick because anything can happen at 30. They can move around. But we are going to put you on the spot with the top 5 picks of this year's NFL draft. Matt, we'll let you go first.
Well, the first 2 are pretty obvious. Where I sort of differ with, I think, a lot of people is that I think the Vikings at number 3 will go with a quarterback, Morris Claiborne. I mean, look at the quarterbacks in that division. They need a quarterback to be able to help out with the pass defense. Also, I'm not a big fan of Matt Cleo. I know it's a value position, a big marquee spot at left tackle, but I don't think he's that good. So he drops out of my top 5.
All right, Cam, you agree with Matt?
I like Matt's thinking here, but where I go off the board here, you know, I obviously have Luck and Griffin as well, but one guy that really stands out to me is Justin Blackmon. That's a guy I'm just really curious to see how he develops in the NFL. Obviously, all the Stanford people watched him destroy Stanford there. Well, not destroy him, but score a few touchdowns on him. I want to see how he plays in the NFL. And obviously, Trent Richardson's another big guy up there. So, you know, they're intriguing, but obviously the quarterbacks are the big thing with the draft here.
Yeah, there's a lot of years Trent Richardson might be a #1 overall pick. Not this year because there's so much depth. Eric, where are you going for your top 5?
Well, just like these guys, the first two, I'm looking at Luck and Griffin. They didn't do anything to mess with their status. I think Matt Khalil is going to get there. I do believe he's the best offensive lineman. You got to get that tackle. I think that's going to happen. Richardson, I think a lot of people believe that he's a good fit in Cleveland, but I think they're going to go for the wide receiver. I think that's going to happen. And Trent Richardson at that 5th spot at Tampa, they need him. They like it because of the division that they're in. It's in that NFC South. They do like to do that even with those quarterbacks. But if he doesn't go there, I think he'll drop out of the top 10.
All right, let's talk about the top of the draft. Andrew Luck out of Stanford, RG3 out of Baylor. Who's going to be the better overall quarterback, Matt Mayoko?
Oh, I think Luck is. I mean, the guy impressed me at his pro day when he, on purpose, threw bad passes so that the receivers at Stanford could showcase their pass-catching ability.
Cam?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to say Andrew Luck, but Robert Griffin, he's very intriguing, but then again, he's going to the Redskins, and I think the Redskins are they're a mess.
They are a mess. Eric, you agree with these guys?
1A and 1B, I think it's going to be based on the quarterback coaching. I think it'll be Luck because I think he's going to get screwed up by Shanahan.
All right, gentlemen, it's been a lot of fun. Thanks for coming by. Remember, draft day, CSNBayArea.com and Comcast Sportsnet, all you need to know for your 49ers information.